Before we jump into this video, I would like to put some things into perspective for the fans, the queens, directors, parents, whomsoever may be watching this video. I am a motorcyclist, and several of my friends are currently in the hospital, missing bones, few limbs. My friends will fall off of their motorcycles at 100 miles an hour and scrape their skin off of the pavement and continue on with the ride. I'm saying this so that you understand that what you're going through, whatever it may be, is not serious enough for you to be crying over. And I want you to understand where my mindset is when I am seemingly harsh or a little bit pointed with my words. It's because it's first world problems that really don't mean too much. If my friends can get severe road rash and be on ventilators for weeks at a time and come out smiling and still get back on a motorcycle and be unfazed by the whole incident, I expect that the pageant queens can move past certain predicaments and even my words with grace, positivity, and love. Let's see if you can do it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to court. We're going to skip the intro because we have a lot to get into, and I've pretty much let everybody come out before me. I've let everybody have their say. I've let every fan and person and queen and YouTuber discuss this. I am at the end of the line, and yet I am still the first at the gates of defense, as I promised. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should be, because I sent out a warning about this. First things first. Gloves off this year. Everybody here is well aware of who I am and how I operate. At this point, I've been around long enough for you guys to know that when I give criticism or whatever I say is only in the context of competition. You ladies out there, contestants, should not be taking anything that I say in the context of competition into your personal lives and allowing it to hurt your fifis. And I am saying this because I don't really have the patience or even the time in this video to cater to your feelings. I do not have the time today to watch what I say. And being that we will be discussing the Miss USA competitors who have been some of the most outspoken competitors that we have ever seen, which I am grateful for. I've always asked for the women to use their voices. I wish you guys would use it for more than just yourselves, you know, for advocacies or causes or something. Like, I've always wanted to see Miss USA competitors make the news. I wish you were doing it for something other than arguing over this damn crown. But I'm happy that they're speaking up for themselves. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't. 100% speak up for yourself. And I did say that I would run my mouth on your behalf. And I'm here to do so. I'm a little bit remiss to have to do it for other queens. When I said that I would be at the gates, I did not think the first person to show up would be the former Miss USA. And yet, a promise is a promise. So that TikTok, we will be diving into this video. But I'm letting everybody know right now, my biggest pet peeve is whiners. I don't want to hear any whining or crying. I think a lot of the problems that are happening in the pageant community right now is simply because of one thing. People don't want to tell you guys the truth because they're scared of hurting your feelings and whatnot. And I'm going to treat you like the competitors that you are, period, because that's the respect that I give you. Like I said, I love you girls. All you competitors out there, you know that I love you and I will stand up for you and I will defend you. And a lot of this video will be in defense of the Miss USA competitors because no, they should not be shamed into being quiet. No, they should not be forced into being silent. If they have something to say, by all means, let them say it. And I said, I will use my mouthy powers in Crown to protect yours. So I will be defending a lot of the Miss USA competitors very ferociously. But I do have some things to say about the Miss USA competitors themselves, and I expect they're going to take it like the queens that they are and understand that even though I have criticisms, that I still love you. And a lot of you guys know that secretly in the DMs, I have told you that I love you. All right? So we're not taking any of this stuff personally. Yes, my words have power in pageantry, but in your everyday lives, sis, put on a onesie and go to bed in happiness and call me if you ever want to get ice cream. Like, that's it. That's it. Let's dive into this. For those of you who don't know the controversy, how do you not know the controversy at this point? Because everybody's been ranting and raving about it. There are a lot of accusations this year that the Miss USA competition was rigged. Was rigged in favor of the winner, Arbany from Texas. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that is not the most outrageous crowning I've ever seen from the United States. If you've seen my videos, we've seen crownings that were much more questionable than Texas. The reason these women are disputing a little bit the validity of the win is because the favoritism shown by the organization toward Texas and a video that was released with one of the sponsors of the Miss USA organization that was clearly filmed before Texas's win. The Miss Universe organization has come out and said that there is going to be an investigation. And from what I'm reading, Crystal Stewart is no longer going to be the director of Miss USA. From what I'm reading, from all the information that I'm gathering, it has gotten so bad. It's hit mainstream news that the investigation has happened and that Crystal Stewart's no longer going to be the director. Miss USA will be back under the leadership of the overall Miss Universe organization. First things first, let's address Crystal. And I'm going to pretty much just do one full video for all the controversies. So grab your popcorn because The Crown of Shade is coming out. I will try to timestamp everything so you guys can skip around. This might be a long one. So Crystal Stewart's up first. Crystal Stewart is a new director. This is only her second year controlling the Miss USA organization. I think Crystal probably had a lot on her plate and trying to have her finger in every single decision that was made for the pageant. She needed more help because I personally have voiced concerns over how Miss USA has been handled. Even though I liked Crystal's leadership, I think she needed more help. When it came to, like, for example, the girls being inside of Cancun, we as pageant fans did not get to see videos, photos of what was happening in Cancun. They had an opportunity to really showcase the women and this beautiful scenery that was there. We should have had some sort of showcase. We should have had some sort of PR happening, and it didn't happen. Crystal was really overlooking certain things, on top of the fact that I think Crystal really did want to bring back the glamour of the 90s, and that's the era she performed in, which was great. I love the glamour. We've all asked for that back, but it seems like whatever training she put the girls through and the way that she had the timing done for the staging, it lacked flavor, it lacked creativity, it lacked the IMG era-ness that we have all come to love. The girls were seemingly trained to kind of perform in one specific way. Faith, for example, is one of the competitors that I talked about, raved about for so long because she's such a flavorful competitor. But I caught her kind of performing in the same static way the other girls were, and it really seemed like that was something that was instructed or forced upon them by the organization and whoever trained them. We didn't really get to see the individuality that we want from these women. And that was honestly the worst decision. I think Crystal or whoever made the decision, I think that was the worst decision that they could have made, is taking the personality and flavor away from the girls. Let them perform the way that they want to perform. As long as they hit their marks, don't tell them what they need to do or not to do or how to perform. Let them be themselves, because it just, swimwear was not giving for me. The flavor was lost. The flavor was gone. And that's the one thing I didn't like about 90s era pageantry, was that the girls were forced to perform in this very pageant Patty-esque, pretty princess, I'm a perfect girl next door thing. And that's why USA continues to lose, to be totally honest, because Thailand, Philippines, and whatnot is out here giving all the flavor, fuss, and ferocity. Miss USA is over here playing in the sandbox like the children they're pretending to be. We are not trying to choose girls next door to be the next empress of Miss Universe. Get it together, Miss USA. So that was weird for me. But there were other things that was happening with Crystal, and I don't like to feed too much into rumors, and I try to protect the pageant queens. But like I said, in this video, I just don't have the patience to white glove you ladies. If you're going to be this outspoken and strong and be the queens that you're supposed to be, you need to be able to take criticism and understand that it's nothing personal. This is business. Okay, so back to Crystal. We're going to get to the USA girls, but back to Crystal. The first thing that happened that had pageant fans and queens a little off key was there was issues with her husband being inappropriate with contestants, which is a no-go. And I'm not faulting Crystal for that. I feel bad for her. That is an embarrassment. That is a huge embarrassment to go to your woman's workplace where she's damn near the CEO. I wouldn't let my man compliment other women if I was at a pageant, just for the sheer thought that, number one, I know some of these girls are really sensitive and they'll take anything they can and run with it. Not all the girls are messy, but they're women, and some women are messy. So my instruction to my men would be, you can handshake the girls and say hi, but don't so much as give them a compliment, because I don't want to have to come after you, and I don't want them coming after you for nothing. And women will use men as an inside door to hurt another woman. And I hate to think that any woman would do that, but we all know women do that. So I felt bad for Crystal for it to even seem like her man was out there misbehaving. and then for a public statement having to be made about it, that is so hurtful and so traumatizing. I felt so bad for Crystal. That is not her fault. And when they took the steps of kind of separating him from the organization, fabulous. Do what you have to do. That's not on her. Now, the favoritism that the girls are speaking of, and I'm going to talk about it when we come to this TikTok I need to talk about. Everybody and they mama in pageantry knows that there is favoritism. Period. Period. There is always favoritism. And I have a video on my Patreon about why I chose not to compete anymore. I was supposed to. For those of you who are like, oh, why don't you compete? I was supposed to. I had a dress picked out and everything. I was ready to go. I was in training. I was ready to compete. And then I witnessed firsthand how much politics happens behind the scenes, how much favoritism plays a role in choosing a winner. I hated it. I was disgusted by it, and it totally put me off competing. I still love pageantry, obviously, but I'm not going to play in unfair scenarios. So I understand the rage that some of these girls are feeling. I have personally tried to warn people, directors, women about what that looks like, how it can play a role, and even warn, coaches and directors how to kind of take out that bias. But to make it seem like there's no favoritism whatsoever, like these directors don't know each other, like people don't know. Texas is a pageant state. People know that director. Same thing for California and New York and Florida. They're pageant states. The directors know each other. The girls can tell when people are being favored. And I am not going to question an overwhelming number of competitors who say that Texas was favored. Now, it's not to say that this is the most outrageous crowning we've ever seen. It's not. By any means. Texas was in my top 5. So the fact that she won really isn't making me bat an eye. What is more so happening is that it's deteriorating the credibility of the Miss USA organization. So whatever happened there were some missteps that needed to be addressed. And like I said, I have no problem with the girls being outspoken, saying what they need to say, doing what they need to do to use their voice, all that. I know there's a lot of things that you guys want to talk about. When it comes to addressing those things, a lot of those things will be addressed when I address this TikTok that needs to be addressed. So hold on there for me for a second. But there are 2 things that came out of 2 competitors' mouths that need to be spoken on. The first one, Faith. Miss USA District of Columbia. She was on the news and she was discussing with the news anchor about how there should be more transparency in judging. This would help give the girls more insight and give them more comfort in the overall fairness of the competition. I personally wholeheartedly agree. I agree. However, I have discussed this with directors before and saying, how the judges should be more transparent, how they should be allowed to speak out, how they should, there should be a little bit more freedom for the girls to kind of know what was in the judges' minds when they were giving their scores, which is why when I was, getting to do the judging for Miss Earth, international and the national pageant, I asked permission because I know that the organizations really want to protect the PR public view of the pageant. I asked permission on my part to tell my side of the story and kind of give my insight because I'm a YouTuber. You guys are used to my voice and I know you're going to kind of want to know some insider thing. I will ask for permission. What can I say? What am I not allowed to say? What can I tell the people? Because I think transparency is very valuable and gives comfort to the fan base and the girls themselves. It helps the girls learn. It helps the fans learn and trust the organization. So that's why I was like, hey, am I still allowed to talk about this? Because the fans need it, the girls need it, and everybody likes it. Can I do this? Because transparency is sorely needed. The reason, and I think a lot of the girls need to know this, the reason you guys aren't getting the transparency that you want from the organizations and the judging table, you're too sensitive. That's why you're not getting the transparency. And I'm telling this as somebody, I know this for a fact, and I want the transparency for you, but I'm also scared. If I had the decision-making ability to give you guys the transparency you want, I'm not sure that I would do that. Because as of right now, just wait till what I have to say in the future of this video. Wait till further on in the timestamp of this video. We'll see how sensitive you are. But right now, what I'm saying is the majority of pageant queens, especially in the United States, you guys are way too fragile. to tolerate and hear what those judges are thinking and saying about your performances. And I know this for a fact because there have been videos that I've done about organizations that did not pertain to the queen herself. In fact, I defended the queen herself and found out later that the queen herself was kowtowing and crying to other queens about the mean YouTuber who had something to say about something that did not even involve her. This is why I'm saying gloves off this year, because if you guys are going to stand up here and be this big and bold, I'm saying this to the competitors. If you ladies are going to stand up here and be this big and bold, be this vocal, which I adore, I also expect you to have the spine to be able to take the thoughts of the judges, the organizations, and the fan base. And as far as I've seen, a lot of these girls are breaking down because people don't like the color of their dresses. They don't like their shoes. They don't like their walks. You guys take it too personally. And I'm telling you right now, anybody who thinks I'm ruthless, you think I'm ruthless, you cannot hear what the judges are saying behind closed doors. Because I thought, you know, every now and then I'm like, ooh, maybe what I said was a little bit much. And then I'll hear what the actual judges are saying. Right? I'll hear what the actual Miss Universe judges said behind closed doors. You guys are not, you can't handle it. You can't. Some of you can. Some of you are prepared to deal with it. Most of you are not, which is taking me, and here we go, because Miss USA girls, I'm telling you right now, you guys know that I like you. You know that I care for you, okay? So we're not going to take what I say completely to heart or personally. But the second thing I want to address is the comment by, I do believe it's Miss Montana. I included her in one of my videos. She's a beautiful little blonde girl. I expected more feistiness from her swimwear performance, but hell, I think the Miss USA organization ruined that. I'm not holding the girls to that. But Miss Montana rubbed a few of you fans the wrong way, and a lot of you guys sent me the same clip of her calling for the representation of blondes in finals of Miss USA. What happened to the blondes? Where are the blondes? Why aren't the blondes? There was not a single blonde chosen for finals, which I am looking at my list and I'm like, excuse me, West Virginia? What is she, chopped liver? Do y'all not count West Virginia's a blonde? Okay, but beyond that, please don't get sensitive. I just don't have time. If y'all want to get sensitive and mad at me, fine. But if you get mad at me, you better make sure I'm not in the middle of a cuddle session when you hop into my DMs, because I'm not going to be nice about it if you wake me up and interrupt my cuddle fest, okay? So she called for the representation of blondes. And this is why I had to do the last video I did when I'm talking about queens who were different from the rest. I specifically addressed, you know, the blonde girls who are typically the women that are upheld as the pinnacles of beauty, right? They're super special. But I had a whole discussion about blondes and their seeming privilege of thinking that they are somewhat superior to other women because of their blondness. See, I've been trying to drop hints for a lot of these women for the longest time. I've been trying to use my nice words and in flowery language to let these girls know in the nicest language I possibly can what the problem is. And this is why I have to be so blunt, because it's clearly gone over your heads. I did a whole video about the privilege of some of these queens, and clearly it didn't click. Clearly they didn't get it. So in this video, I'm gonna be blunt and I'm telling you, don't take it personally. And if you cry about it, you don't deserve a crown in the first place. So let's get into it. First of all, let's address the privilege. Let's do that first. The privilege to think you are owed anything because you're a blonde. This is what I addressed in that video, is the idea and a lot of these privileged queens' heads to think that they have some sort of leg up on the competition simply because of how they look. Some of you thought I was being like sensitive or I was like coming after the blonde girls. Nope, because this just proves I was right. And I tried to say it nicely, but they're not listening. And this is not the first year that I've heard a such thing. When Asia Branch won Miss USA, I went after a couple girls on Instagram, not on YouTube, because I don't drag pageant queens. It's very difficult for me to come to terms with that. But I went after them on Instagram for saying the same damn thing. They're over here talking about what happened to the light-skinned, fair-skinned blondes? What happened to that? What happened to that? I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I told those girls back then when they privated and deleted that comment, okay? Don't take it personally because I'm just stating facts. Sorry, girls, still love you. The reason that there weren't more blondes in finals is because you didn't deserve it. You did not deserve it. The reason that there were not more blondes in finals is because overall, the performances were boring. I do not like to use that word because I know it brings girls to tears because you guys are very sensitive. But the only way to deal with this is to say the full truth. The performances were boring. And I'm ready to get this off my chest, okay? I've been trying to say it in the nicest way and no one's picking up on the language. This is why I have to be blunt, all right? A lot of the blonde girls, number one, you guys think you're owed something because the blonde girls think they're owed something because they're the all-American pretty girls. And I'm telling you right now, like, get over the thought, the practice, the thinking that makes you think that your looks are going to get you into finals. You're cute, you're blonde, you're bubbly, you're boring. That's what you are. Cute, blonde, bubbly, and boring. And it's not gonna get you into finals. You're cute in a photo. Go join a modeling competition. Go get an agent. Stop thinking that your pretty, flowery, pretty girl looks are gonna get you anywhere. This is the same, I tried to talk about it in that video, letting people know that the other girls are making it into finals because they're not relying on their looks, they're relying on their skill. You did not develop the skill to get your butts into finals. That's why you're not there. And it's frustrating because I hear it every year where these girls get salty and they're like, oh, where were the blondes? They didn't belong there. They were in the losers circle where they belong because they didn't put in the work the other girls did. And I do not like that we're going to devalue the work ethic and the superior performances of North Carolina, Minnesota, Texas, Illinois, Ohio, Tennessee, New Mexico. We're not questioning them. They deserved their placement. And when I said I'm going to defend the Miss USA girls, I meant all of them, which means we're not questioning the girls that did make it because as of my list, and you can say whatever you want about what I'm saying right now, but I'll tell you this, the judges clearly agreed. Those girls deserved their placement. Minnesota, North Carolina, flavorful, fun, face, all that. They gave it during swimwear. They gave it during evening gown. They gave it during Q&A. They deserved their placement. So for future reference, I would like the pretty blondes to know, number one, don't sit up there saying, oh, well, you just don't want the blondes to win. You just don't want the blondes up there. No. I have several thousand people in the kingdom who have been archiving my every word for years. Go into the Kingdom Discord and research this because the last 2 years I have specifically pined after a blonde girl from either the United States or Europe that actually gave the flavor of the Asian and South American nations. Before you come for me, before you want to twist my words, go in the Kingdom Discord and check for what I said. Not only that, it's on Twitter. It is on Twitter. This year, I'm going to pull up the tweet. Here is the tweet. It was posted the 29th of September. I said, imagine Indiana and Mississippi coming out performing like straight MU vixens. I would faint. Putting it into the universe right now because I so desperately want a fun, feisty, bubbly blonde to just show up and wow the audience. And Germany, by the way, might do it for Miss Universe this year. She might. So before anybody's like, oh, you don't want the blondes to win, you don't want the blonde to win, also peep this, because the Discord knows this because I rave about her all the time. My favorite Miss Universe competitor ever, 2010 Ireland, who is a blonde. And let's be 100% clear. There's never been a Miss USA blonde going after somebody like that. Never been a Miss USA blonde performing like that. I wish I would die. I wish you guys would give me that. You keep giving me girl next door vibes. Why are we still doing Pretty Princess? I don't understand. Just for the full context, because I never want to see or talk about this again, because I see girls do this every single year about the whole damn blonde thing. This is what you blondes have been giving us for years. This is the performance you've been giving us. This is what you're going up against. What in your mind makes you think you deserve to be placed next to these other girls? They would massacre you. That is the truth. That is the absolute truth. And I don't have you guys not been watching the rest of the videos? When I do videos on Miss Universe Thailand and Philippines, are you not there? Are you not watching Vietnam Slay? What about Colombia and Venezuela? You overlooking them too? What makes you think the performances you have been giving is going to survive those other women? I know, I'm sorry. It seems like I'm being really harsh right now, but understand, I'm not even wearing the crown of shade. I'm just telling you what your coaches and your mothers won't tell you because too many women clearly have been babied. This is a cutthroat sport, okay? sport. This is the Olympics of pageantry. Your mothers and your coaches should have told you this. They should have looked at you, practice your walking and your fake smiles, and told you this performance is boring. Go back to the drawing board. Do it again. Rework it. This is why I think lying to these girls and not telling them the truth is to their detriment, because then they have no reason to improve. Then they think something's wrong when they don't make it. I'm not trying to be mean to the blondes, okay? I need, for future reference, I need you blondes, because I want one. I like truly do want one. Check the receipts. I've been asking for one. Next season, next year, when the blondes show up, forget that you're blonde. Forget that you're cute, because it's not going to get you anywhere. It got you, your looks have already gotten you as far as you've gotten, okay? You wouldn't have won your state pageant if you weren't cute. But stepping onto a Miss USA stage, understand that everybody's cute, sis. And you are not any more special than the brunettes. You're not. I would very much like the blondes to actually put in work. I love representation. I love diversity. I love all of that. But if the Black women had complained in this way, I'd have told them to shut up too. If the Black girls had whined about diversity and representation, but they were boring and their walks were bad and they're falling out of their turns, I'd have told them to shut up and sit down and get their butts whooped like the grown women that they are, because you didn't earn your place and you are not owed a damn thing. And being a token, ask the Black girls, being a token anything is not fun. Being the token Black girl or being the token blonde is not fun, because everybody knows you didn't earn your spot. It's not fun. So I'm not going to back up anybody who didn't earn their placement, regardless. So the women who didn't make finals this year, you are not Florida from 2019. You are not Massachusetts from 2019, okay? The reason that some of y'all did not make final is simply just because you were not good enough. And don't cry about it. This is a sport. This is a competition. Come to terms with it and don't complain about it anymore, because it looks bad and it sounds terrible. It sounds like a dog whistle when you get on a social platform and you say, I don't know, what happened to the blonde representation? To the minority ears, that sounds like a dog whistle. And previous years were a lot worse with it, but this sounds bad too. Now, I'm going to go in the belief of thinking you didn't mean it that way, but I just want everybody to know. I want to say what the mothers out there were too soft to tell their daughters, baby, you just weren't good enough. And that's the end of it with the blonde issue. Now, I understand that there are other issues with this that need to be addressed, and all of them will be addressed when discussing this TikTok. It is now time for me to take my place at the gates of the pageant community and these Miss USA girls that I said that I was willing to defend. I am a woman of my word, and I do not take any joy in this. I did let you guys know that I was coming out and I had something to say and I wasn't going to be nice about it. I said I would be standing at their defense. I am a woman of my word. I am very upset that I have to talk about a pageant queen. I am not happy about that. I don't like doing it, but I had already previously given my word that I would be there. So when I say that I'm standing at the gates, I would prefer that people just be wise enough not to show up. But Elle, the former Miss USA, decided to come with her flaming sword. And I have brought mine. So let's have war. Let's go. Now for context, as I said previously, the Miss USA girls have collectively come out to state their frustrations with the organizations and how the Miss USA organization seemingly favored Miss USA Texas, the current Miss USA. They favored her and they kind of feel like they pushed her into a winning position. The girls have been very vocal on this. And I'm like, I support all women being vocal. By all means, speak your mind, sis, and I will be there to defend you. Should any nonsense director threaten you or anybody come after you, I am not going to let these girls be dragged to hell over anything. Now, sometimes they say silly things, as we talked about the blonde thing. I don't hate you, any of you girls at all. That's why I'm here at your defense. Like I said, there is no hate. And there's no hate for the former Miss USA either. And I know that there is a possible likelihood I might meet her face to face one day. Fine, still no hate, but you can hate me if you want to, I'll live. Now, I personally wish that Elle had happily sat there and ate her Fruit Loops. Personally, I wish that Elle had stayed there in her onesie and had some grapes and fruit salad and enjoyed her time as a reigning queen and settled comfortably into retirement silently. That's personally what I wish that she had done. But Elle decided to pipe up on behalf of Crystal Stewart and the organization and against the class of 2022. And I'm over here like, you really gonna make me do this, Elle? I like you. I don't not like you, but I'm a woman of my word. And this entire TikTok was a no-go. This entire TikTok was so ill-advised that I actually have to take notes because every moment of this had something bad about it. Every moment of this, it was just, it's bad. And I have no choice. I do not like it when you girls put me in a position to do stuff like this, but I'm going to own it and I'm going to full crown of shade it. And that's how you know, look, for those of you who don't know what the crown of shade is, when I'm throwing shade, I will acknowledge it. If I'm giving criticism, that's different. I will not have on the crown of shade. This is a bit shady and I'm going to own it. And I'm sorry to Miss L. Still like you. But you deserve this. So let's listen to the TikTok.
I understand that I won Miss USA last year, and so I am very grateful for that opportunity, and some people may not agree with me, but this is my perspective.
Pause. Elle understands that some people aren't going to agree with her, but she wants to share her perspective. This was ill-advised. Elle, you are a former Miss USA. You have a clear bias and conflict of interest. In a situation like this, most knowledgeable law-abiding people, for example, recuse themselves from the situation because no one can take what you say seriously because obviously you were clearly favored and treated better than the average even contestant by the Miss USA organization. You've spent over a year with them. Clearly they like you. Clearly you like them. You have a close connection with them. Ergo, your clear bias. The only reason in which she could and should have spoken out would have been on the side of the contestants because then she's going against her bias. But when you're coming out to go against these competitors, it really just seems like you're protecting the organization, especially when the rest of this TikTok is nonsense. So first thing first right there, this TikTok holds no weight because of the conflict of interest, obviously. So I thought.
All I feel is concern and pity for Arbany, and here's why. I understand how isolating it is to win Miss USA, and I also understand what it is like to have your class try and discredit your win.
No. You see what I was saying when it comes to the bias? You see? Because she's identifying with the position of the current Miss USA. You are trauma bonding right now with the current Miss USA. You're not concerned about her specifically. She's triggering an emotion and memory in you of you remembering, I was treated that way. I know how that feels. I'm going to stand up for her because I wish someone had stood up for me. That is a clear that's why you don't speak out on stuff when you have a bias, because you are too closely connected. You are too closely influenced by your own mindset and your own ideology in your brain, saying you know how it feels, you know how hurtful it is. I understand you're identifying with that because she's almost like a representation of who you used to be, but that's another reason we can't take what you say seriously. This looks very, very bad. On top of the fact that I don't remember anybody from Elle's class like trashing her or anything. And even so, why would you care? Like, we'll get to that, but so, why would you care? Okay, continuing on with the TikTok, because there's so much we need to get through.
I understand how isolating it is to win Miss USA, and I also understand what it is like to have your class try and discredit your win and say that they are attacking the organization and not you. Last year, my class attempted to say that the organization favored me, and they came up with all of these different claims. I then debunked all of the claims to prove them wrong. This class is doing the same exact thing to Arbany.
Oh, girl, no. Oh, girl, okay. First of all, like I said, you're personally identifying yourself with Arbany, which is just silly. Second of all, when somebody says it's not personal, you shouldn't take this personal, you should take it as fact, because Arbany, the moment she won, she is a part of the Miss USA organization. She's not even going to be known by her name by the majority of fans. She will be known as Miss USA. She is now a figurehead, a representation of the organization. So she's going to feel like it's after her, but actually it's because she is connected to the organization. It's kind of like when I talk about bad cops or cops in my neighborhood that are doing really bad things. I know a lot of the cops in my neighborhood. And when I see them doing bad things, I will let them know, sir, you are not allowed to park on our grass. Stop intimidating the bar goers and move your car. When I come after the cops, I come after them as an organization and an entity of the government. I'm not coming after Matt, Brandon, and James. I'm not coming after them individually. I'm coming after them as a representation of my city and its government. Are you understanding? They're not coming after Arbany, right? The cute little fashion designer friendly girl. No one's coming after her. They're coming after what she represents, which is the organization. That's kind of like me getting salty about people coming after YouTube. Like, oh, but I'm a YouTuber. You're coming after me if you come after YouTube. Sis, ain't nobody coming after me. My name is Davana. I live here and I do this and I'm a biker. No one's coming after me personally. If you're going to come after YouTube, it has nothing to do with me. If they're going after the organization, it has nothing to do with them hating Arbany. And you need to stop being so sensitive as to apply it directly to her. It is nothing about this girl. They're not calling her mean, nasty, or evil. They're not saying nothing about Arbany herself. They're talking how the Miss USA organization favored her. She is a non-factor in the conversation mostly. She's just a woman that happened to be crowned. Like, I hope she out there drinking a cocktail or something, because this really doesn't have anything to do with you.
There is not one person in the pageant world and not one person in that class who did not realize that Arbany was the clear frontrunner for the Miss USA title from the moment that she won Texas.
Pause. That was That is laughable. That's laughable. From the moment she won, first of all, you just confirmed the favoritism that the girls are accusing the organization over. Do you realize that, right? Do you realize you just confirmed the favoritism? You're saying from the moment that she won Texas, everybody's looking at, like, the organization, everybody's eyeballing her. Because I'm letting you know right now, from the fan base's perspective, she weren't, sis. She weren't the clear front runner. She was a front runner. I'll give her that. She was a front runner. She was not the clear front runner. Let's not sit here and pretend like Arbany Catriona'd the Miss USA organization or competition. She didn't. I've got my list sitting in front of me right here. Because my front runners, before we even get to Texas, she was in my top 5, but she was number 4. I had Minnesota, North Carolina, and West Virginia above Texas on my list. And even before prelims, the one girl I was ranting and raving about was DC. So Texas was a front runner, not the front runner. The only people who thought Texas was the front runner was obviously the Miss USA organization. Because even from the rest of the fan base, they were going after New Mexico and Nevada as front runners before Texas. Yeah, we all were talking about Texas, but she was not by any means the clear front runner, at least to people outside of the organization.
The biggest claim I have seen is the Nizook video. And from my understanding, this is what happened. Dr. Fee was a sponsor.
I will say I kind of understand the Nizook video, because when I saw that, I was very concerned myself, and I went and did the research. I had the receipts and I had the kingdom working. The kingdom works. I love you people in the Discord. Okay, you guys are messy drama queens and I love you. I love you. But the kingdom works with their receipts, and we had them on hand and we were trading and fact checking and all that. Understanding that, Nizook was a sponsor and they're friends with like the Texas organization. So they wanted to use Miss Texas because they already had her on hand. She just so happened to win. Like, that makes sense. Mostly, sort of. I do believe was the vacation part of the prize package for Miss USA, because I understand that's where the girls are getting caught up. They're like, okay, if this is supposed to be like a trip for her, why is she already on the trip, right? That would be like a thing. So does that mean the current Miss USA, right? Texas, Arbany technically then hasn't had her vacation yet, right? I'm assuming that's what you're telling us. I'm assuming. That Nizook thing was a little wonky, but I understand what Elle's trying to say here. So I'm willing to kind of be like, yeah, okay on that. I'm still side-eyeing it a little bit, but there's still other things in this video we need to discuss that I can't even bat an eye at this. I'll let you have it. Well, let's keep going.
I have so much love for the class of 2022. You guys were amazing. I got to hang out with you a ton. But my perspective is changing, because as of right now, it seems very disingenuous on social media for a multitude of reasons. One, I understand that you guys took Arbany out of your class group me. Why? 2.
Oh, no. I can answer. Can I answer? I'm going to answer that. I got that one. They took her out of the class group meet because she's no longer a contestant. She's Miss USA. And if they're going to shit talk Miss USA, they did not want to disrespect Arbany in front of her face by doing it. They didn't want her to think that they're bashing her. So they removed her out of respect so that they could speak their minds without concern for her feelings. That's actually the nice thing to do, is to be like, hey, I'm going to step outside to have words with someone else out of earshot of you because I don't want you to take it personally. That's actually the mature thing to do is to excuse yourself from the room when you need to take a fart. Like, that's what the girls did. They excused themselves because they knew that they needed to vent and they didn't want to do it or get her involved or do it to her face and hurt her. That's why. I hope that I've cleared things up. It gives me a little bit of gaslighty feelings to sit in this video and say, I have respect for these women. You know, I like these women. If you truly had respect for these women, you would know when to be quiet, right? Because this video is seeming like it's trying to dispute and or shut up the competitors that are speaking their mind. If you truly respected these women, then you would allow them to have their voice without, you know, getting in their way, without some, like, if you had a legitimate reason to dispute them, then fine. You had some receipts, then fine. But this video has nothing. It's devoid of anything that would be useful. If you truly had respect for these women, you would stay out of the confrontation. Even I know when to shut up, okay? There's been several instances where the fan base and people are like, are you gonna say anything? And I respectively decline. I respectively back out because I find it very difficult to go after a pageant queen and or organization because I like them. And if I can keep myself from being involved, if my involvement is not necessary, and I respect both parties and I feel like it's just a dispute between them and it's not that serious, I know when to shut up. And I've told the fans this sometimes. Sometimes you guys want me to speak on things and I won't and I haven't because that is a symbol of my respect. Sometimes the best thing to do, the best way to keep everybody safe is to keep your mouth closed. Sometimes if you have nothing nice to say, you don't say anything at all. That is out of respect. This is a sign of disrespect, okay? Because if these girls are speaking about how they feel, what they saw, how they were treated, there's really no reason for anybody to get involved other than the organization themselves. The organization simply could have reached out to these girls and been like, what made you feel this way? What did you see? We apologize if that's what you saw. The organization could have simply offered them an explanation, had a roundtable talk with the girls. Like, the organization should have been able to handle this without everybody else getting involved, but they didn't. And to come out against women that you seemingly respect shows none. So I could see why they would be upset at this video. Because I personally wouldn't have said a word. When people have something to say, I let them speak their feelings. Even when people want to bash me, as stupid as it may be, I'm not going to say nothing. If you want to say something, by all means, say something. If you want to get disrespectful, then we can have at it. But if you just want to be like, I just don't like her, fine, sis. Like, I'm not going to force you to, okay? I'm going to sit here and eat my taco in peace and happiness because you really don't matter that much. Why was it so hard to just be silent?
Two, I understand that I watched a live last night of a title holder and she was so excited about the amount of people that were watching her live. And she said, never have so many people paid attention to me, basically. And it seemed very disingenuous.
I get excited about lives. I get excited about lives, even if I'm talking about 90s era crappy pageant gowns. I get excited because you know what? It's nice to have friends. What this title holder came out and did was a hard thing to do. When you have to come out and say some things that you know are going to upset people, you wake up expecting backlash. You wake up expecting people to hate you. You wake up expecting the entire fan base to come down on you. So when you finally go live and get ready to accept your lashings and you are met with kindness and friends and agreement, hell yeah, you get goddamn excited. I have been there. Sometimes I will sit here on YouTube and I will say some things I know are gonna piss people off, but I'd much rather do the right thing than what's gonna make you feel good. So when I wake up in the morning and I'm met with kindness and people who are understanding and people who agree and they're like, I was too scared to say it, but I'm glad you did, that feels amazing to know people understand where you're coming from, to be validated, and you're no longer feeling like you're crazy. It's people coming there to comfort you and be like, I understand how you feel. When you're met with that sort of compassion, hell to the goddamn yes, it is exciting as shit. I am not faulting this girl at all for being overwhelmingly excited, for causing an entire uproar, and then people showing up to support her. Yeah. People get excited when other people, strangers, come out to support you and whatever you're doing. It's kind of like when you're at a birthday party all by yourself and you feel like your friends aren't going to show up, and then all your friends show up for you, or you're hurt at the hospital and then all your friends show up at the hospital for you. That overwhelming amount of support makes you want to cry. That's not disingenuous. It's not. And honestly, I would expect Elle to understand this, because when you were saying people were bashing you, or the other queens were bashing you for your win or trying to dispute your win, did not the fan base come out and support you? How did that make you feel? I'm sure you were excited, and no one made fun or called you entitled or disingenuous for being excited about the support. Hell, you were Miss USA. You got support everywhere you went. We supposed to call you disingenuous, entitled, attention seeker because of what you experienced? Like, no, it feels good to have support. You of all people should know that.
I understand that there are going to be frustrations about losing a pageant that you've worked diligently for, y'all. I understand that. And I understand that there may be frustrations about the fact that you guys had to pay for t-shirts. I thought that was crazy. I'm going to be honest. But the fact that y'all did not congratulate her after winning Miss USA, walked off the stage, took her out of the group. I mean, that poor girl right now is going through it. And for everyone who's saying that it's not impacting her, you're completely wrong. This is impacting her mental health.
Okay, stop. First of all, if it's impacting Arbany, you're rating wrong, sis. Well, I'm gonna get to you. We'll cycle back to that. I gotta rewind. Cycle back to what she said in the first place. Did Elle in this TikTok not discuss the women seemingly being disingenuous, and how she did not like that the women seemingly were being disingenuous? But now you're mad at the women for not being disingenuous, right? What you're saying is you girls should have walked up to Arbany and congratulated her. You should have appeared to be legitimately happy for her and excited for her, even though you weren't. That's what you're telling. That's what you're saying. You're telling these girls, first of all, you were mad at them for seemingly being two-faced, because that's what that means. You're mad at them for being two-faced, but then you want them to be two-faced. Walk up to Arbany, smile in her face, hug her, and be like, "Oh my God, girl, I'm so excited for you, and I'm so happy," and mask and hide and bury their own personal frustrations. Quite honestly, that moment I knew something was weird. I knew it in a reaction video that something weird was going on, because I'm like, why? I'm getting weird feelings here. I knew something was weird. For all these girls to seemingly just walk off stage, to just walk off, they're allowed to feel however they want. And quite honestly, nobody owes you a damn thing. Same thing for Arbany. And sis, I'm not even coming at you. Why do you expect these girls to congratulate you about anything? They're your competitors. Like, yes, I understand that you want to be friendsies with them. You knew them for a couple days. Calm down. This is a sporting event. This is a competition. You win your crown, you go home. If people want to say congratulations to you, then they will. If they don't want to, why should they be obligated? You want them to be fake to your face? I can't stand it. Sometimes I love pageant world, but one thing I do hate about pageant world is the two-facedness, which is why I get backlash sometimes for being so honest and blunt. It's because you guys aren't used to it. And the moment you get a little bit of honesty, this is how you act. You wanted these girls to bum rush Arbany and give her fake congratulations, then go back to their hotel rooms and cry and shit talk the organization because they felt like it was unfair. That's what you're asking for when you just condemned them for being disingenuous. This is why I say this TikTok is madness. It should have been kept in the drafts, because it don't make no sense. There is no sense to be made here. There is no logic whatsoever. Why do you expect people to cater to your feelings? You girls need to stop being so damn sensitive. I'm tired of it. Gloves off. I posted this on Instagram. I'm so sorry. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I do not mean to. My words should never be taken into your everyday life. It only applies to pageantry and the competition. I should never catch a girl crying over somebody not liking their walk, their performance, or their evening gown. That is stupid. That is ridiculous. And this brings me to Arbany herself. People are like, oh, her mental health, oh, her this, oh, her that. Arbany, you bet not. Message to Arbany. Hey girl, hey, congratulations. You had bet not be in your hotel room, studio, apartment, on an airplane, in your mama's house, in somebody's arms crying. You better not be wearing the Miss USA shedding a goddamn tear over the women in the loser's circle. And I like the women in the loser's circle, but this is a competition, sis. So take the personal mindset out of this. This is a competition. You won. Period. We are not concerning ourselves with the women that lost. It's done. The competition's over for you. Focus on Miss Universe. You still have a war to go to. Why are you concerned about the women who will not be walking next to you? Be concerned about the women coming for your neck. Be concerned about Venezuela, Colombia, freaking Japan or something. Be concerned about Germany. She over here working her tail off. Be concerned about Curacao. Hello, Philippines is right there. You are concerned. You are letting the women in the loser circle get to your mental health. Ladies, if you are that fragile to be saddened over what the women that you beat have to say about you, give your crown to the runner-up. Give your crown to the first runner-up, because I have a feeling you just don't have the strength to bear the responsibility of what it means to be a national title holder. I am beyond tired of fragile queens getting upset at the drop of every single. I don't give a damn if these girls didn't congratulate Arbany. They aren't. Is that contractually obligated? Are they supposed to? Yes, it's the nice thing to do, but I mean that being nice is not something that is mandatory or dictated to anyone for any reason. These girls are allowed to have their feelings the same as Arbany's allowed to have hers. And quite honestly, girl, if you are not sitting somewhere drinking a winner's martini, wearing $100,000 crown, you don't deserve to be wearing it. You should be happy. You should be doing whatever you want, enjoying your reign, preparing. Why would you allow these other people to impact your mental? These are like, yes, they're your pageant sisters, but not really. Not really, to be honest. Now that you're an international queen, the international queens are going to be your pageant sisters because you are now superior to the others. You beat them. You are no longer on the same level. You were sisters, but now you're like a mom. See, so they kicked mom out of the room so they could whisper amongst themselves. You have to go play with the big dogs. Venezuela, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina. Go hang out with them. You have friends. So what you care about what those girls say. I can't stand the sensitivity. Whiners just make me, oh my God, you guys make me want to cry. Stop joining pageants. I am asking the lot of the whiners, those of you who are too sensitive to take this world, do not join a pageant because I don't want to deal with it. The fans don't want to deal with it. The girls shouldn't have to be forced to deal with it. And I don't want your mental health to be impacted. I don't. And I don't feel sorry for Arbany because number one, I expect her to be a hardened competitor that she is going to international competition. Number two, as I stated in one of my previous videos, the most dangerous women in pageantry are the women who have something to prove. And Arbany now has something to prove. I hope Arbany has a fire lit underneath her perky little butt cheeks, ready to make her mark on the world. I hope that Arbany is feeling the pressure and that she is working overtime and double time to prove everybody who thinks her win was a fluke wrong. I hope that Arbany is harnessing every bit of fury and fire in her body to smash the rest of the competitors coming from her neck from around the world. I, as a pageant fan, would greatly appreciate it, Arbany, if you could harness that energy and just rage all the way through the Miss Universe pageant, all the way to the Mawad crown. Please utilize the anger you may be feeling and turn it into something positive. And you competitors, like, stop expecting your competition to baby you. Yes, I understand that for all these years, right, pageant queens have played nice, even though it's two-faced. And I've seen you guys talk about each other and whatnot behind each other's back. And I don't engage in it because I love all pageant queens. If y'all have beef with each other, then fine. I'm out of it. Unless you want to come to me, sis, and yell at me, you can yell at me and then I'll buy you an ice cream because I really just don't give a damn what you have to say. And I'll still be your friend. That's the energy I expect from pageant queens, right? I should be able to absolutely roast Arbany as much as I want in the context of competition and still go get an ice cream with her later. Because what matters is the competition. After that is done, you leave the competition where it's at, leave it on stage, and go live your life. I beseech the pageant community, especially the girls, to stop being this sensitive. If you are this fragile, you do not belong on a pageant stage. And clearly, Elle is still harboring some resentment from the former queens last year, whomsoever treated her poorly. She is traumatized. She is identifying much too closely with Arbany and her situation, which is why she's jumping to that defense. And I'm gonna have to say, Elle, sweetheart, this is a bad look. You're a queen. Why do you care what other people have to say about you? You guys are role models. And it's pissing me off that damn near me and you are in the same position to show these other young girls what it's like to be confident, but you queens are failing at the basics of being confident by breaking down as soon as someone criticizes your shoes, hair, or placement. Where's the confidence? Where's the proudly confident queens that we've come to love and expect? Where is it? Because you guys, especially Elle right now, collectively crying on TikTok about how you were treated or what other people think of you. That's not confidence. And it's upsetting me because I love you. If you're wondering why I have the crown of shade on right now and I'm willing to publicly throw shade, is because I am disappointed in pageant queens in general in the United States right now. You're sensitive, you're whining, and you're crying publicly. This is not the confidence that I have come to expect from reigning women. If someone has something bad to say about you, and I have to work with school children, I tell them the same thing. Sweetheart, it doesn't matter. Walk away. Go live your life. Are they hurting you in any way? Are they impacting your, finances, your home, the way that you live? Then why do you care? As an example to younger people, you cannot display this level of weakness. And I'm tired of it. I have placated. I have white gloved you beautiful women to protect your feelings, and I'm over and done with it. I love you guys to death, but I fully believe the reason a lot of you are in the situations that you're in and you're as fragile as you are is because your coaches, parents, and organizations have babied you too much and didn't tell you the truth. So I'm just going to stop doing it and understand that I love you. Yes, I'm going to be rough. In the context of competition, it's a sporting event. I'm going to be hardcore. But when I see you guys face to face, or if you want to call me, seriously, because I've had a couple queens ask if they could call me. If you would like to call me and hear my voice, and I will give you a good wholehearted, bestie pick me up, right? If you need a hype queen and you are sitting in your room crying and you're just like, I just need someone to tell me that I'm okay. If you need a bestie in the moment, I will be your bestie. I will be your hype manager. I will be your hype queen, whatever you need, sis. I want you to know it. But I also want you to be thoroughly prepared for the competition you're walking in, because outside of pageantry, I can hype you up as much as possible. I will hug you and kiss you and love you and say hi to your mom. I will say hi to your sisters and brothers. You could FaceTime me. If you happen to be in town, we could go to dinner. That's fine. But when it comes to competition, you had better be ready for the fight, because no one's pulling their punches. Neither am I anymore. That was a full rant, but I told you guys, I'm letting everybody know, I'm done tolerating the whiners. I'm done tolerating the crybabies. Please, for the love of God, if you wear a crown on your head, don't let me catch you crying over no nonsense. Not even me. I do not mean that much. My words and my criticism is never to leave the stage or arena or room in which you are rehearsing or competing. It is purely for the purposes of the competition. You leave it there because if outside of pageantry, what I have to say about your performance does not matter. I mean nothing outside of your pageantry performance. You don't take it with you. You don't let it hurt you. You don't let it faze you one bit. Period. I'm telling you right now, my words go in the trash the moment the competition is over. That's it.
And I think if you have concerns about the organization, reach out to the organization directly. Reach out to Paula, reach out to Crystal. But this whole social media bashing, there's people under my comments calling me a fraud because they think I'm Arbany. And just imagine how she feels. And I'm not even involved right now. So guys, just think.
Elle, how are you gonna say you're not even involved right now when you're making a whole ass TikTok talking about I hate the social media thing, but here you are on social media involving yourself. Baby. And back to the whole Arbany thing, you pick yourself up. Pick yourself up right now. You are the queen of the United States. And as a Miss USA pageant fan, I do not want to hear. I don't even want the thought of my representative queen crying over some nobodies. At all. Not even a little bit. Suck it up, Buttercup. I will mail you some tissues and some ice cream. Get it together. You have a war to get to. These girls don't they deserve to voice their opinions, but why do you care? You have the crown. Move on. And being like, oh, I hate this social media thing. Social media is half the power of being a title holder. And we always advocate for the women to use their voice, right? The Miss USA organization, the Miss Universe organization, even you yourself, Elle, we all are advocates of women using their voice, right? So why are we trying to silence them? I don't want to silence. It's been forever since a Miss USA girl actually had the spinal cord to stand up and say anything, because I'm real sick of y'all sitting there being pretty and not using your voices. So quite honestly, these USA competitors are a nice breath of fresh air, to be honest. I'm super happy they're saying anything at all. Speak about something, anything at this point. I'm tired of the silence. But let's not silence them. If they have feelings, if they have something to say, let them speak. You should not be bothered by it, to be honest. It's not impacting you, not influencing you. The organization may be in shambles right now, but they have some unaddressed issues that they need to deal with. And I'm not going to even sit here and think that these girls didn't tell the organization privately. But as some of the girls have argued, they want more transparency. So they are being more transparent. They are showing everybody what's happening. I like the transparency. I argue for more transparency. But the thing is, everybody involved, the organizations, the directors, the parents, the queens, all have to understand to not be that sensitive. If you want that transparency, be prepared to accept it and understand it's not always going to be something that you like. It's not always going to come off as nice, frilly words. It's not always going to be super friendly. You need to have the resilience to withstand the ire of the judges and the directors and the fan base. Arbany herself should know this. So I do believe this is the end of the TikTok, and I'm sure this video was super, super long, but like I said, a lot of the stuff needed to be addressed. Yes, I'm having the crown of shade, and I'm shading any pageant queen who's over here shedding tears about anything that's insignificant in the world. There are serious problems happening in the world. Y'all are over here crying about pageants and gowns and dresses and what your friends think about you. First world issues, sweetheart. This is what I'm talking about, the privilege of some of y'all pageant queens. Get it together. It's gross. It's a little bit gross, the things that you guys cry about. Truly. I have friends in the hospital right now that are missing limbs, and you're over here getting your feelings hurt because the sovereign doesn't like my photo. But I'm the problem? I'm the problem? Reevaluate. I'm gonna stop ranting right now. I do still love all the queens, okay? Yes, I did a little bit of a tongue lashing, but sometimes the minorities know, okay? Sometimes even when your parents give you a spanking, it does not mean they don't love you. Just means you're misbehaving a little bit. Collectively, I would like the girls to collect their faces and tears, fix your makeup, and go have fun. Move on. Have a martini, girl, sis. Nothing is that serious, okay? In the comment section below, let me know what you think about all of the controversy going on and the Miss USA organization right now. Like all the tea. What do you think about the news stations picking it up? What do you think about what Miss Montana has to say? What do you think about Elle's TikTok? How do you feel Arbany should be feeling? Quite honestly, I don't even think she's being involved. Like, people are talking about the Miss USA organization, not her, sis. Go sit on a beach somewhere and be queen. Like, why are you here? Why? But like, let me know what you guys think about this. No one expected this tea. I know that I'm late, but I know people are going to yell at me about what I had to say, and I'm hoping nobody's taking it personally. I don't hate anybody. I just want you guys to stop whining, because truly it triggers me, if you can't tell. The whining triggers the shit out of me. I can't even take it from my little brother. I'm definitely not going to take it from the queens that I love. Please don't do that to me again. It was very hard to do, okay? I'm going to take the crown off. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and remember, I love you and I will miss you, but you know I will be back and much more happy in a future video.